Hello guys, welcome to our English talk show again. Today we are very happy to have invited the founder of lumivoce, Dr. Ying Ying, to be on our show.
Hi Alan,
Ying.
hi.
Welcome to our talk show.
Delighted to be here.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure to have you here. Could you first say hi to your audience?
Yes, hello everybody. It's really a great pleasure to be here with Alan today. And I guess we're going to talk about something. What are we going to talk about?
But I think the very beginning is the name of it's like an organization you founded, right?
Yes.
Lumivoce, what does it mean?
Yeah, it is a charity. Lumivoce means to illuminate with sound. Lumi means illuminate.
Illuminate.
Yes, and voce is sound in Italian. What I want to do is to illuminate the fact that many of us don't really know that we are losing species at an incredible rate. Wildlife is really in peril. And I want to call people's attention to really care and to protect these species.
Species who are in danger.
Yes, and to use music as a means to use the power and the beauty of music to really engage with people, because music has such incredible beauty and power, and it will connect with people's hearts and emotions.
Exactly.
So that way we can really, once your heart is committed to a cause, then you will try to do something to help it.
Music is a universal language, right? So, and also usually wild animals, they cannot speak a language, but you give them a language, you give a voice for them.
That's right. That's why we call lumivoce a voice for the wild, because we give the voice to the voiceless.
Yes, exactly. Well, actually, I read your biography before the interview. you were like soprano and also professor teaching universities before. Right?
Yes.
Wow, very rich work experience. Can you tell us what led you to what you're doing now?
Yes, well, we have to go back a little bit more.
Okay.
I grew up in the musical family. My father's a composer. Many people probably know his songs. 让我们荡起双桨 and 我的祖国, so my motherland. A lot of Chinese people knows these songs very well. I grew up in a family that everybody loved the music. When I was young, our piano was perched up on a brick bed.
Oh wow!
东北土炕. So on the brick bed, that's how I learned how to play piano. So I grew up, and of course, I always wanted to go to the West to study more music, because that's Western classical music. I was a pianist to start with. So I went to America, did my master's, doctorate, and eventually became a music professor. For 6 years, I taught music. But like you, very much like you, Alan,
really?
That I just wanted to broaden myself, to be out there some more. I didn't want to just
narrow your career.
Yeah, so I started doing cross-cultural consulting, leadership development, but still into education. But I also met my husband, who is who loved outdoors, loved traveling. So we used to travel here and there. Then it's during these travels I've really learned a lot, especially a couple of very special moments, I think, in our travels.
Yeah, what are they?
One is when we went to Mexico. We got to go with a National Geographic researchers on a very small boat. And I remember very vividly, we went then, got very, very close to the humpback whales, a mother and a baby. And we get to, see them like, 20, 30 meters from us, so close. It's like you can reach out and touch them that close.
They were not afraid of humans.
No, well, they are very peaceful. They're so big, right? We're in our small boat, and we're very quiet. We didn't put on the motor, and was very respectful of them. And then they lowered down this deep sea mic, like 50 meters down into the sea, and you can hear the whale song It's so touching. I remember that sound. And because I'm a musician, right? The sound, I'm very sensitive to sound. That sound just goes directly into your heart and your soul.
Wow.
You will never forget it. So that's one. Another very poignant moment was when we went to Alaska a few years ago. You know, Alaska is one of those most prestigious places for nature and for wildlife. So we went. We saw this incredible wild. We saw whales, we saw bears, different kind of bears. We saw wild salmon, we saw wolves, we saw eagles. But we also, so the incredible beauty was very touching, but also very concerning was we saw glaciers. They're melting. So we're talking to the, you know, to
global warming because of the
and to the scientists there, and they say within 15-20 years we will lose all the icebergs. Can you imagine?
Wow. So all the animals like polar bears, they will have no place to live.
Not only that, I mean the temperature of our planet, our home, our only home, will, you know, it would be catastrophic. Yeah. So we saw, you know, icebergs, and then we also saw millions of jellyfish in Alaskan waters, and they really shouldn't be there. It's because of the acidity, the temperature and the acidity of the ocean. It's too high.
So it's actually really happening there, not just something we see in the movies.
No. In fact,
it's a reality now.
Only yesterday, a couple of days ago, that the newest report, several very important reports coming out. Scientists globally, hundreds of scientists, really talked about that we must change our ways of life. We must change because otherwise we're going to lose over 1 million species in the next 10 years.
10 years time. Wow, 1 million species.
1 million
will
species
be gone.
at risk of being completely.
So the ecosystem will be totally changed, or we can say damaged.
Yes.
Wow.
Our ecosystem, our biodiversity, it's at a critical time. There's still time. There's still time for change, for us to really call everybody together. It's not just the government's job. It is everybody's job. It's corporations' job.
We can give a helping hand.
Yes, we all each.
Can you tell us how we can give a helping hand to
Absolutely.
join this?
Give your voice to the wild, because you know, I have given my voice, and I'm calling on others to give their voice, because we need to, first of all, I think we need to strongly increase awareness, because most people don't know, right? That we lost 60% of global wildlife in the last 45 years.
60%, wow, that's a majority.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And we've lost 97% of elephants in the last 100 years.
Oh, they were all slaughtered, killed because of certain need right from the human.
That's right. And you know, the last winter actually was we've just got to do more than what we're doing, because last winter, you know, the Bering Sea, we lost a lot of ice. In the winter, usually the ice is supposed to be growing.
Yes.
But the last winter, we lost ice the size of Montana.
Wow.
There's so many things we can do. But first, people must know what's going on with our planet.
Exactly. The consequences is going to be more than we can take if we don't do anything.
Exactly. So, you know, a voice for the wild. What we have been doing is use music as a means. We've been producing music and then video together, and to incorporate classical melody with my singing, and then with wildlife in the back, and we recreate the classical melody to make it more exciting. For instance, our first single track, it's called Wan Wu, All Living Things.
All Living Things.
Yes.
I was very fortunate to have seen it. We're gonna let the audience see the video as well later on. But before that, let Dr. Ying Ying tell you more about the story behind it.
Okay. Yeah. The Wan Wu, all living things, really, the reason we call it Wan Wu is Wan Wu 一体和谐共存. Yeah, it's
all
from
living
Chinese.
harmony.
Yes, exactly. I think humans and wildlife and nature can live in harmony if we manage well.
Exactly.
But we have to be more disciplined, like you and I talked about, right? But the Wan Wu, it's did you like it, by the way?
Oh, I was totally blown away. I'm impressed and really loved it. Yeah.
Okay, good, good. I'm glad. Because what we're trying to do is reinvent a very well-known classical melody. You love classical melody.
Yeah, I do.
It's Schubert's melody of Schubert's melody.
And you were the voice.
Yes, that's right.
You were the voice of it.
But we've taken out the lyrics so that it's just pure music. As you were saying earlier, music has no borders, right? So we use pure sound. Sound is vibration, so it's wonderful to be able to feel that. And we recreated with African rhythms together. So we pair a classical melody from the classical period, but with an African rhythms together. Not only that, with my voice, and we also incorporated all the wildlife voices.
Elephants.
Yes.
Sound.
Yes, elephant sounds, lion,
lions,
and jaguar. Cheetahs and wildebeests, birds, and all of these African. You probably ask, why do we do the first one in Africa, right?
Yeah. Why is that?
Why is that? Because my thought was that it's about mother and child. The reason I want to do one about mother and child is because I think that's an internal theme, mother's love, right? And if you think about it, we have our Earth Mother.
Yep.
We are humans, and all wildlife is the children of the Earth, Mother Earth, right?
Yeah.
So Mother Earth loves us because it gives us food, it gives us fresh air, it gives us water, it gives us wonderful things for us to live on. But we also need to love Mother Earth as well. That's one I picked that particular melody. But why Africa?
Yeah.
Because humans came out of Africa. That is our mother.
That's the origin, the birthplace of human.
That's right. It's birthplace for humanity. So it is very important. And Africa, also another very important meaning of that. The reason we picked Africa is because Africa now is going through a very intense development. And with the way our system works, often we use so much resources, natural resources, often destroyed a lot of natural resources in our development.
Many trees are cut down or burned.
Right. That's right. Africa is developing very fast, and my hope for humanity, for the future of our planet, is that we need to be a little bit more mindful to really showcase African ecosystem, African wildlife, and as we develop, we need to be more mindful not to destroy.
Yeah, we have to respect other animals' lives as well.
Exactly.
Live and let live. Right.
Yes, allow them to live. Because if you think about, there are many species like elephants, rhinos on the brink of extinction now. All the NGOs are doing everything possible. There's many NGOs in Africa trying to save it. But you and I talked about wildlife and environment, nature doesn't have any border. Same as music. That's why I choose music to speak up, because it is something we all share. Just because pandas live in China doesn't mean panda belong only to Chinese people. It is a treasure for the world, for all humanity. Just because elephants live in Africa live in other parts of Asia doesn't mean they only belong to that particular country. Same with Amazon rainforest.
Yeah, yeah.
Because rainforest give us fresh air. It's all of us, for all the children on the planet. And that's why, long story short, that's why we picked Africa as our very first single
video.
Yes,
Wow.
music video.
Yeah, it's a very good video. I highly recommend you guys to take a look. Now we can cue in the video.
I hope that you like it.
Yeah, definitely, we loved it. Now we're back. Okay.
Okay.
I know you also created a second video. Its name is called Breath of Life.
Yes,
Right.
called Ying Ying
Ying
Breath
Ying.
of Life.
Oh.
Yes.
Where was the video shot?
Actually, you know, I'm
Oh,
glad you
Amazon.
asked. Yes, it's about Amazon.
Oh.
This features Amazon rainforest. The reason we pick these very important strategic ecosystems is because Amazon rainforest nurtures 1/10 of all the species on the planet. If you think about it.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So again, Amazon doesn't belong just to the South American countries.
Mm-hmm.
It belongs to the world.
The whole world.
Scientists say it's very, very important that we protect rainforests because it gives all of us, it gives us fresh air. It also gives us precipitation, all the water. Because did you know, I just learned that
What is that?
Amazon actually creates these precipitation from the forest into the air, more water than actually flows in the Amazon River. More
Wow,
precipitation.
I didn't know that.
Yes, so without the rainforest, actually, we don't have the precipitation. That means we won't have rain.
Then there'll be
That means
droughts,
everything will be
right?
drought,
Yeah,
will be
yeah.
dry.
Yeah.
So it's very important. And also
to, raise the awareness. Yeah.
Yes. So, but unfortunately, for instance, in a single year, Amazon lost 1 million acres.
Oh, what caused the loss?
Well, it was cut down mainly for raising cattle.
Oh.
Then cattle then become food, beef for people. So,
Steak.
yeah, and then also, agriculture. So they cut down the trees to raise food for humans mainly. Other, greens but a lot of also, animal farming.
Yeah.
So
It's not a good trade-off, right?
yes. Well, unless we don't want to breathe anymore, or we don't want to have water anymore, or fresh air anymore, then we better protect it.
Exactly. That's more important than just having an extra steak or barbecue.
I would think so. That's exactly why I became a vegetarian. Actually, a vegan vegetarian. It's not because I didn't like meat or I didn't like seafood. It's because of exactly what we're saying.
Yeah.
We have to be more sustainable in our life choices.
Yeah, you have to take part in it, to do your own part, right? As for Dr. Ying Ying, she has been really doing her best. Like the videos we mentioned, to give a voice and her singing to voice for the wildlife, and also to be a vegetarian, right?
Yeah.
To cut down the need of meat. Maybe not, as for one person, it's not much, but think about it. If everyone are given a helping hand, act locally, but think globally, we can make a change.
Absolutely. Think about it. I mean, we are 7.8 billion people.
Yeah.
So every time I make a choice, sometimes I really miss seafood, right? Or I really miss that cheese. But then I think, oh my gosh, what can I do, right? I eat a tiny little bit, but if I'm one person, but every time I make a choice, it times 7.8 billion, that's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. We can equally make a huge impact if we reduce our carbon footprint.
Yeah.
Right? So, if we do one small thing, save 1 cup of water, but if every person save 1 cup of water, that's 7.8 billion cups of water.
Yeah.
We have to think globally and act
locally.
Individually.
Yeah, individually. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. Wow, that small part can cause like a butterfly effect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think because, do you remember that a while ago in Mexico that when they win the World Soccer game. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And then did you know that the earthquake? They actually had detected there's a small earthquake after the game, but it wasn't an earthquake. Did you know what it was?
What was it?
It was all these people so excited going onto the street. Everybody were jumping up and down. That's our scale now.
Wow, that's how powerful we can be if we are join force together, right?
That's right. So I think we can do a lot of good. We
Yes.
really, but if we have to it's hard to be disciplined.
Yeah.
I think if all of us, really help other people to understand that we are facing extinction of all the over 1 million species in the next 10 years.
Those animals are like our brothers and sisters. Yeah,
Absolutely,
right?
they are brothers and
we have
sisters.
a common mother nature, right? Those animals
Yes.
are our brothers and sisters.
Absolutely. How can we let these beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters die? We shouldn't.
That's too cruel, right?
Isn't it?
Yeah. See, so if you eat less meat, right,
You
or
can
you
help.
reduce certain things, you can save a lot of them.
Yes, I read report that basically food consumption, agriculture contribute to greenhouse gas about somewhere depends on the report between 15 to 18%.
Wow.
That is more greenhouse gas than any other sector, including if you add all the transportation together, for instance, if you fly, if you drive a car, if you do all the things add together, it's not as big as agriculture together, our food production, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so if many people actually coming out and calling for action, calling mainly for, say, if it's one thing that everybody can do, it is eat less meat. You don't have to become a vegan vegetarian like me, but slowly, there are great movements going on. They say every Monday I'm just going to eat vegetarian.
Okay.
Right?
And and also it's really healthy for you, right? It's
Absolutely.
Healthy, diet.
Yes.
Exactly. And it's really good for you and good for the animals.
Good for you, good for the animals, good for the planet, good for Mother Earth. I mean, why not?
Why not do it? Yeah.
So,
exactly. You don't need that much meat usually.
Yes.
And what you need is not as much as what you want.
That's right. And also that just don't waste food, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because all the food, try not to waste, because a lot of animals, I went to Africa last summer and see very close hand, lions, elephants, and many different animals. Sometimes they travel for weeks on end looking for food and fresh water.
Wow.
Or not just fresh water,
Any
water.
Oh.
Any water. So sometimes animals have weeks or days without food. And if you think about it, lions in the wild, they on average live between around maybe 12 or 15 years, sometimes even less, 8 years or so. If you think about it, we as humans, we live a very luxurious life. Yeah, we have so many choices. If we reduce and we don't waste, and we're mindful not to overeat high environment impact food, we can save a lot of these resources for the planet, for trees so that we can have fresh air, for trees so we can have fresh water, for trees so that other animals can have a place to live and to eat, to find food, and to help the earth to balance to have better temperature, and for our children too.
Exactly.
I mean, what kind of, I guess sometimes, I get a little too passionate almost, I go, we got to do something for the children.
Yeah.
Because what kind of planet are we leaving for our children? If we leave them, scientists say that we must change our ways so that we need to keep the the increase of temperature within 1 degree if we can. If we let it go through 2 degrees, there's the weather pattern, there's many things going to be lost, and species going to be lost, and the temperatures, the weather, all going to be, many places going to experience drought, other places going to experience flood. It's just going to be unpredictable. So, actually, I just want to call everybody to join us, to let other people know. First, start with I will do something, right?
Yeah, I'm truly inspired by Dr. Ying Ying, by what she's doing. And I really hope the audience out there can be inspired and join us as well.
Yes. So when are you going to have your first vegetarian meal?
Next
you already
Monday.
did.
Oh, today I did. Today I just did the lunch with you.
Yes.
That's good stuff. I'm not feeling good.
And it's very healthy.
Exactly,
so Allen and I just had a vegetarian meal. So that was very tasty too.
Yeah.
And very good. So we all can do something. But also give your voice, however you can. For instance, I am a musician, so I'm a singer, and I use my singing, right? I use my singing to give a voice.
I use my video to give a voice.
Yes, that's right. Someone else could use their drawing to give a voice, right? Each one of us can give a voice, and each one of us can do something. That is truly my hope. And, as we're sitting in Beijing, and thinking about how many people in China alone, what is the official count?
1.6 billion something.
Is it 1.6 really? 1.4?
Okay.
I think it's around 1.4-ish, right? And growing. And then, we've got to, if all 1.4 billion people could do something, imagine the impact. And anybody out there, please join us. Check out Allen's video.
Thank you.
He does fantastic talks with many different walks of life. And check out our lumivoce website, www.lumivoce.org. We are also, the exciting news is we're also engaging with children.
That's the future of the world, right?
Exactly. So, but we're engaging with them with music and with
books.
Stories.
Stories, right?
Yes.
That's another mean, right?
Yes.
To give a voice out.
That's right.
To pass on this kind of movement, this love, right, to the next generation.
I like the word you use, love. I think we really could pass on the love, because I think we all love our mothers. We all love our Mother Earth. And we need to pass that on to our children, because what we need to do is really engage our children in creative ways, not just preaching, but let them participate in learning, so that if they can do a video, a wildlife video like the one that you showed, that we did, they can use their ways. We already have kids after one of my talks, and they already start doing their own video on biodiversity, which is fantastic. And
that's a chain reaction.
Yes,
right?
And we're hoping that when we give them the wildlife story, they are also going to be able to draw, whether if it is the rainforest about orangutan and sustainable palm oil, we need to bring awareness for that, or we bring awareness about rhinos facing extinction, or we're going to do a series of wildlife stories as well.
We want our children not just to be able to draw those animals, and when they grow up, they'll be also having a chance to see them, right?
That's right.
Just like what you experienced, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, with your husband. Yeah, you can see them.
Yes.
How great feeling that is, right? To have different animals living in harmony in one planet.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We really want them to see these. I cannot, for one, I cannot imagine a world that that we cannot hear the sound of the elephant trumpet, that we cannot hear the roars of lions, and we cannot hear the song of birds and whales. I mean, can you imagine a world like that?
The world would be boring.
And very sad, right?
Sad, yeah.
That would be boring and sad. We've got to preserve these so our children to be able to see
We don't
them.
want that to happen. So again, we really want everyone to join us, make a difference for the battle of our mother planet and for our children.
Yes. And I really appreciate this talk and to be able to interact with your audience here on your platform.
Well, it's a real pleasure, and we're really inspired by your story and by what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you
Can
so
I
much.
tell you about our next, just give you a little preview on our next track that is coming up?
Of course, that's the third one, right?
Yes.
Of course,
It's gonna be
please tell us about it.
The third track, it's we're going to feature the coral reef.
Oh, why coral reef this time?
As you probably already know, coral reef is the rainforest of the ocean.
Ocean. Oh, yeah.
It houses about a quarter of marine life.
Oh.
And we, as you know, reports say that 75 up to 75% of coral reefs are at risk. They're being bleached because of the warmer temperature, because of the acidity, because of unsustainable fishing. So I really think we need to call to action of protect coral reef. There's just so much to talk about because we recently I read a report that sometimes our diet, for instance, a lot of people still eating shark's fin soup.
That's sad.
Without sharks, the coral reefs cannot have a good ecosystem. Without the turtles, cannot have. There's many species. It's a species. The ecosystem is intact, interconnected. We cannot just take them out like that. The whole thing could collapse. We don't have to eat shark's fin soup. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's not something you need.
No.
Yeah.
And same with rhino horn. It's just basically like our fingernails.
Yeah.
It's the fingernails. It's cartilage. It's nothing.
And also the elephant's tusks. Right?
We don't need it.
We don't need that. It's not that
need
beautiful if you have it maybe hanging or showing in your living room.
It's not beautiful. It's blood.
It's blood.
Full of blood.
It shows you are a murderer. Yeah.
The elephant tusks, they needed to dig holes on the ground. They need it as an instrument. I've seen them. They need to take off the tree barks that they need. They need to go dig the mud, and they need to dig a hole sometimes for water. That is the only place that needs elephant. It's on the tusk is for elephants, not for us.
Yeah.
And they are very important. We call keystone species. Elephants and orangutan in the rainforest. These are keystone species because they actually eat these seeds and they pass on in other places so that they can grow. They disperse seeds. They also clean up. Same with orangutan in the rainforest. Same with sharks in the ocean. They are the cleaners. Same with pangolin, 穿山甲. Very important. These are all very important, especially for Chinese. I'm especially calling for our fellow Chinese people to refuse pangolin scale, to refuse rhino horn, to refuse ivory, to refuse shark's fin.
They're cleaners. Yeah. Otherwise, without them, we'll be living in a dump.
Exactly. Exactly. They are very critical for the healthy ecosystem.
Yeah.
If we still want a good healthy ecosystem in the forest, in the ocean, which both very critically important for us because they absorb all these carbons.
Yeah.
Without them, the world will be so hot and
Yeah.
dry. We won't be able to
Yeah.
live in it.
That's the last thing we want to happen, to Earth and to all the animals.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not only these keystone species, but scientists also say that the insects are very, very important. You know, we are losing insects in an unprecedented rate.
Okay.
All the 昆虫, all the insects is very, very much down. The why, so from the very big, like elephants, whales, dolphins, all the way to small,
Insects.
like butterflies, like bees, like bats.
Even ants.
Yes, they are very important. Why? Because they're pollinators.
Oh.
1/3 of the food we eat is pollinated by these
them.
insects.
Oh.
Without them, we will lose so much of our food and fruits, our greens and so in some places butterfly was down 90% or more. In some places bees, we've lost so many bees. Bee collapsed altogether because the pesticides we use, because we cut down their habitat. So I would say really preserve biodiversity because biodiversity is so critically important for all the life on the planet.
Yeah, I know there's an annual day for bio.
Yes, May 22nd.
Right? Yeah.
May 22nd.
Remember that day.
It's a World Biodiversity Day. And we've got to call out to everybody. If we can together, all the humans, 7.8 billion of us, if we can come together, imagine what we can do. We can really, really preserve this planet, preserve the our future, really, our children's future.
Yeah, diversity. We have to respect and embrace the diversity.
Yes, exactly. So the keep the biodiversity intact is probably the most critical. I would say, I mean, not I, but a lot of scientists say it is the existential challenge that we're facing on this planet. I mean, it really will impact our survival.
Yeah.
And not just ours, everybody's.
Everyone, yeah. Exactly. So that shows how urgent, how important it is for us to increase the awareness and to let everyone join this, to have a joint force together.
Besides, I have to tell you, when I travel, I mean the beauty of wildlife, the beauty of nature, it's so amazing. Get out there, experience nature, experience these wildlife. Yeah,
the wildlife you see on the video, the real. Well, if you go there to really experience that, that's really breathtaking.
Yes, if you get a chance to get out there, but do it very mindfully, do it very sustainably. Try to respect wildlife, never get too close. Really, really respect their space. It is us are the visitor. We're visiting their habitat and really try to preserve their habitat, and we go visit them respectfully, not intruding. Some people getting too excited maybe, so we want to be really respectful to them.
Mutual respects are very important.
Exactly. And also for your own safety as well, right?
Exactly.
So.
Wow. Very good.
There's just, I mean, Allen, you know me. When I started talking about biodiversity, about music, I can't really stop.
That shows how passionate, how enthusiastic she is, and that's really that shows her true love, for this.
Yeah, there's many people, many artists also joining in this call out for action, for all of us to get together, using beauty, using the power of music and arts to give a voice to something so critically important and to preserve the beauty. There's many wonderful series, BBC Planet Earth, Our Planet, and there's many wonderful,
many of them,
new Dynasty, all of these. And of course our own videos and our own music.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is very accessible. We do it both in English and Chinese.
Yeah.
You are going to show the Chinese version?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. So it's, we can already see the movements. It's already there, right?
Yes.
Let's join them. This is a very positive, meaningful movement. Things we're doing. Yeah, that's gonna have a great positive impact on the humanity, on the future of the earth.
Yes, and I'll share with you some other of our materials. I'm happy to put on the web for anybody who's interested in conservation, who's interested in education, engaging with next generation. We're making these materials free to use for all people who wants to do conservation, for anybody who wants to do education. Because our purpose really is to engage as many people as possible.
So you're all welcome to join us.
Yes, exactly.
Before we finish up here, any other words you want to say to the Chinese audience?
I'm thrilled to be here, Allen, really. I am proud to be a Chinese person, proud to be a musician, and I think Chinese people can come together. We're 1.4 or plus billion people. We can really do something positive to contribute the world and help leading the world to a more sustainable future. And what better ways to do it with something like music, which is really beautiful and wonderful.
Yep.
So I invite all the musicians, all the artists, and everybody who loves, wildlife, loves beautiful things like music, Mother Nature, join me. I think music is one of the most beautiful things we humans created, right? So let's put it in good use, right?
Give the voice to the voiceless, like you said, right?
Yes, give a voice to the wild. And it's been a great pleasure talking with everybody, and especially you, Allen.
Thank you. It's my real pleasure. And
really
thank you so much for being on the show and sharing all those wonderful ideas, and that I'm truly inspired a lot of us. And I'm like, for example, I'm from next week on, every Monday I'm gonna only eat vegetables.
Yay! Wonderful.
That's just one thing I'm gonna do, and there's gonna be a lot of other things. I can do to help to be participating.
Well, that's wonderful. We all can start with one thing, right?
Yeah.
Start with one thing, and if it is just one meal a week, vegetarian, that's already very good. And you can also, like, for instance, take your own bottle, not to buy plastic plastic
That's
water,
another
single
thing we
use.
can do, and it's easy to do.
Very easy.
Yeah.
I take my bottle with me, so a lot of people are doing that. Even if we just do that, imagine the impact. It's incredible.
A lot of animals will be saved. A lot of resources will be saved.
Yes.
And you're providing a better future for your children.
Absolutely. You put it absolutely.
Great. Excellent.
Okay. Should we say goodbye?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll see you guys next time. I will
Time
definitely
passes by very quickly.
when we're having fun.
Yes, exactly. See you.
It's a great talk. Yeah. See you guys. Yeah. Sincerely wish you all the best.
Thank you, Allen. Pleasure. Bye-bye.